Hello, and
Hello.
welcome again to another episode of GameCube. I am Jason, and this is
Wesley.
And today we're going to be talking about
Katana Zero.
If you are new to the show, we kind of do a brief little overview of the game, give our personal reviews on it, and then get into kind of a deep dive spoiler discussion of all of our just kind of miscellaneous thoughts on the game and
keep spoilers to a minimum in the first half.
Yeah, well, half.
Ideally,
first part.
Since we're like the third, I guess.
Depends. You want to start with, I guess, talking about what Katana Zero is as a game?
This is a sort of side-scrolling action stealth game. I think of it as a cross between Mark of the Ninja and Hotline Miami. Similar kind of Mark of the Ninja playstyle where you are going through a level as like a side scroller, potentially trying to avoid some enemies, trying to eliminate other enemies without being seen, heard, without getting killed. But it has a lot of the weirdness of Hotline Miami and the overall story structure.
It's not quite as like gory in the same kind of shock way that
I don't. It's not
Hotline Miami is. It's
like,
gory.
There was some blood.
There's
like a bit of gore.
I mean,
yeah, it's a bit, but it's not.
Decapitation happens. Like it's pretty. It's bloody, but it's all pixel art. So
yeah, so it's okay.
It's bloody pixel art, but it's got a very kind of neon aesthetic. If you couldn't tell from just like if you look at any of the art, it's very pretty.
Yeah. Cyberpunk dystopia future, hence that kind of art style. You are a samurai ninja. So samurai.
Samurai.
Yeah, you're dressed like a samurai. Whether or not that makes
what? You're a samurai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other people are ninjas, I guess. And you're a samurai.
I don't think there's any ninjas. I think everybody else is also samurai. There's a bunch of samurai.
Sure. And yeah, you live alone in your small apartment in some bad part of the city. And you're given missions to go and eliminate targets. You are essentially a professional assassin by night, and I guess a therapeutic case by day.
Without getting too much into the story, because it's probably kind of spoilery to go too much further than that. There's this kind of the gameplay loop is like you go do a mission, and then you kind of have an interlude in between where you're talking to other characters, and the main conceit is that you're kind of talking to your therapist about what's going on.
The dreams you've been having.
Yeah, the dreams you've been having, that sort of thing. While also kind of getting your contract work from them.
Right.
And getting some doses of a mysterious medicine.
Yes.
And there's a lot of like dialogue options. There's a lot of
the dialogue system is kind of cool in that you have almost any time you have a dialogue option, you have the ability to interrupt.
Yeah, you kind of have like a little timer.
Yeah.
That goes across the screen, and the first section of it is red, and that's the section that's like before they're finished talking, because their text like kind of types out on the screen, as it usually does in these sorts of conversation systems.
Yeah.
But as it's typing out, you could like press A before it gets out of the red section most of the time, and you'll like interrupt with like just kill them or shut up.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear this. Yeah.
And their text system is actually pretty fun in that they like to use like colors for words to highlight certain things. They like to use wavy text, shaky text, glowing text. If you interrupt people, I think their text
breaks and falls
apart. So you like interrupt them in thought. So there's like a lot of good
if you like is Undertale what popularized the system? Undertale certainly
maybe The Messenger is the last game I can think of we played that had
the Messenger had a very similar text system,
similar style, at least as far as how it displayed text, not in this like.
What other game was I thinking? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Undertale has similar style.
Yeah. So it's got this kind of interesting text system. Text system. There's a lot of you're kind of solving a mystery. The character has some problems, and the world is kind of crumbling around them.
Yeah,
as it were.
So you're kind of trying to figure out your place in the world. I guess, do you have amnesia? I guess you do, right? I don't think you remember like your time in the past.
You have partial amnesia. It's a little weird. Again, we probably shouldn't talk too much about the details of that.
Yeah, you can't actually get too far into the story before it starts getting spoilery. So.
Yeah, things start getting weird. There's a lot of themes of, I guess like post-traumatic stress and probably some depression. There's a lot of drug use, drug abuse.
Yes. There's a lot of,
like thematically, like there's a lot of stuff on like withdrawal here. It's maybe
it's just like self-sacrifice to some extent.
Sure,
but yeah.
We'll
get more into that.
There's a lot of stuff there in the plot, and it's the kind of glue that connects the levels together. And the levels themselves, though, are pretty damn fun.
Yes, their overall mechanic is interesting. I think in a lot of similar games, you might have like health or lives, which you don't really have here. Taking any damage at all essentially kills you and like puts you back to the beginning of the screen that you were on.
Yeah, it's basically one-hit kill. Sometimes enemies will like kick you.
Yeah, sometimes you can fall over, and then usually that's fatal because they'll shoot you, but not always. Sometimes you get a chance to get out of it.
Yeah, but for the most part, getting hit means death. Yeah,
so it's about trying to figure out the sort of perfect run through every screen.
And the kind of gimmick that you have there to make that not, well, I don't know if it alleviates the infuriating.
I don't think so, but it's a good story conceit.
The story conceit here is that your character has like Precognition, yeah. You have the ability to see the future, so
and you really far out because you can plan out like
yes,
a whole screen's worth of movement.
Yeah, so what happens is you walk into a level and your character is like, okay, let's figure this out, and then you just start playing, and when you die, the game rewinds to the start of the level, and you try again, and you
your
just keep trying.
Like, no, that won't work.
Yeah, so you keep trying things over and over again until you clear basically a single level at a time.
Yeah.
And levels are usually like either one room, or sometimes they get towards the end of the game they start to expand to being like
I would say
several rooms at a time.
Probably not ever too much bigger than about 2 Switch screens.
No,
some are a little bit longer, but not many.
I don't know if we said. I think. Yeah, I don't think we said. But we played this one on Switch.
I think it's at least for PC. I'm not sure what other platforms it's on.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Could have looked it up, I guess.
Yeah, this is also a 2019 release.
Yes,
it's been out for I think since like maybe as early as March last year. I think
maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. We picked it up a long time ago, just haven't gotten around
finally
to it.
Finally got around to playing it. But yeah, it's fun at the end of every screen when you finally succeeded, and then your character is like, yes, that should work.
And you get like a full play of
and you can go and like do the replay, which is interesting because you have a limited ability while you're playing to slow down time. You have like a recharging meter that lets you do like a little bit of time slow, so you can carefully do things like dodge a bullet, like do a roll to dodge a bullet, or like hit someone, grab something, throw it, dodge out of the way, grab something else, throw it.
You can also do things. There's a mechanic where you can reflect bullets.
Yeah,
if you like swing your sword at the right time.
I guess your main controls really are just primarily like move left and right, jump, sword, and grab throw.
Yeah, there's some other stuff. There's like wall jumping and slides and rolls and all that sort of thing. It feels
fairly simple controls.
Pretty juicy, I think, as a game.
It requires some precision, and the controls are certainly good enough to handle that kind of precision.
Yeah, I never had any issue like thinking I had done something and failed to do it.
Yeah. If anything, I might feel like I got away with something sometimes. I was like, oh, that roll worked. I didn't expect it to work.
Yeah, maybe rolls are kind of the thing that are kind of hard to judge when exactly they start and when exactly they finish.
I think it's tricky to do rolls without slowing down time, whereas a lot of the rest of it you can kind of learn to do without slowing time.
Sure, yeah. There's this kind of you only have a small pool of time slow, and it regens when you aren't using it. So you can kind of slow down time for long periods of time. And then you have to wait a while to get it back, or you can just kind of use it in small bursts. But you can also just kind of learn how to do all of the you can.
Yeah.
It's much easier to reflect a shot if you slow down time.
Yes.
But if you get the timing down right, then you can just do it. So there's a lot of levels often have this kind of you use time slow a bunch at the start to sort of make sure you know how everything works, and then you kind of don't need it when you actually after a little bit.
Yeah, so you kind of learn some pieces, and then you're like, okay, well, I can do it without time slow. That way, I have the time slow for later in the room.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
you do get the time slow back pretty quickly, so it's
yeah, and a lot of the time you could kind of if there's like a bunch of different rooms on a screen, you can often try to sneak up on one people in one room, eliminate them, and usually have a chance to wait to get your slow back.
Yeah.
So you can kind of break your run down into a few particular actions that you're going to carry out.
And so you did say earlier, you did refer to it as stealth game. It's kind of a weird stealth game in that most of the time you actually are trying to your goal on a level or in a section is kill all the enemies.
Yes, whereas a lot of stealth games would give you a choice of killing people or not, and sometimes even strongly reward you for not killing anyone. I feel like Mark of the Ninja, I think it has a reward for every stage for killing nobody.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Deus Ex similarly.
Yeah, this doesn't have that. There's
sometimes you have to kill everybody, and that is actually the goal to advance.
Most of the time, you have to kill everybody. Yeah. There are some missions where you're asked to try not to kill everybody, or try to kill no one, or various things like that. But
should maybe always optional.
I think they are always optional. I'm not 100% sure.
But it's fun to try because it's different from the main gameplay. And there still is stealth in the sense that you don't want to aggro every enemy on the screen to
that's sort of what I was getting at, was the
make your own stealth.
Yeah, it's not stealth in the Metal Gear Solid I want to get through an entire area without ever getting seen sort of thing.
Yes.
It's more like you're stealthing just enough to clear one single room's worth of enemies without aggroing the next room.
Probably a good 50% of the people you kill are going to see you before you kill them.
Yes.
But you should be sort of prepared so that as soon as they see you, you go into your quick sequence of maybe you dodge their first shot and throw a thing, and you know that someone's going to come chase after them, so you hide behind a door so you can go and stab them when they come through.
Right. Yeah, I thought the gameplay was quite fun. There's there's quite a lot of variety.
Yeah.
All
the missions are pretty different. And
there's a couple of boss fights. There's not that many though.
No.
There's kind of just the one real boss fight at the end of the game.
I mean, there's a couple.
There's a couple that are earlier,
interesting,
but you can get short circuited out of them.
Sure. But yeah, the boss fights are interesting because they're a bit more of more of a real system mastery test, because you tend to have to do quite a lot of actions together, and your time slow will be too limited for you to eliminate this enemy with just time slow. So you need to learn their patterns.
It feels kind of like playing a Mega Man boss fight with infinite lives.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that. Even some of the boss rooms you even go into like it's a Mega Man room.
Yes.
Narrow corridor, and then a door closes behind you.
Yeah. It definitely has that kind of. If you liked fighting Mega Man bosses, you'll probably like what the bosses have to offer here.
Yeah, and infinite lives is nice because everything is tricky.
Yeah. And sometimes the game is just mean. sometimes you like run
Yes.
into things that like there's no way you were gonna know that was there until you see it.
Yeah,
the
and sometimes
first
that's
time.
even for story.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I think the difficulty I thought was in a pretty good spot. That there were certainly scenarios that were quite challenging. It was
At least
never...
for normal. We should probably note that we only played
that's
through
true.
the basically the one time on normal
Yes.
each.
Yeah.
Like we played separately on our own Switches.
And there's a hard mode available.
Yeah, there is a hard mode,
Yeah.
and there's also a time attack.
Yeah, like a
right?
speed run
yeah.
mode as well, which we've not tried. It's neither of us are that speed running.
Not really, no.
But yeah, it's probably fine. Yeah, so we're not sure how hard mode makes things
I don't
harder,
actually know how much harder hard mode is. But I don't know, I was pretty satisfied with how the
I think difficulty was
the gameplay
was good. I had a few spots I got stuck on for longer, and I'm like, okay, just need to. Some of the longer rooms, just like there's a lot
That's
more
sort of
room
the
for
point.
error.
I never felt.
Those are, like,
sometimes
super
when you play a
frustrating.
game like this and it's like really grindy, and you're just like, please, I just want to move on. I just want to continue.
Yeah.
But here you felt like, or I felt like, I was getting better every time. I was slowly improving until you finally clear the level, and then you're like, yes.
Yeah, I think you like learn some things all the time. Like it's hard in the way that forces you to learn something to advance, which is like kind of what difficulty should be for.
Right.
Yeah, not as just sort of like punishingly hard as things that come to mind are like N and Super Meat Boy and
it's not
very
that
high
kind
difficulty
of...
platforms that require like a lot of precision, and there's kind of sometimes only one way to really do things. Over here, I think you actually have quite a bit of flexibility in how you're going to attack the level, like multiple routes through that you might pick.
There's
so
a lot of like
good at certain
throwable
things-
objects that all have different properties, and you could choose to use them in certain ways or not use them at all.
Yeah, I like that Mark of the Ninja 2 had like a lot of different tools available, and here they're less formalized. They're more just items you find in the wild. But yeah, they do give you a lot of choice as far as how you're going to go through a level.
Yeah, I always felt like I was doing the levels my way and wasn't particularly forced to do it any other way, I guess, really. So yeah, no, I like the gameplay a lot.
Yep.
There's a lot of variety, I think.
Yes. There's not like...
It's not like a crazy amount of variety.
Yeah, like within
you see a lot of the same
gameplay.
enemy types, but just even having different shapes of rooms creates different challenges.
Yeah, there's actually not too many enemy types, I guess.
Not really, no.
There's kind of...
Is there maybe 4 or 5?
Maybe at most-ish. I'm thinking of like 3 currently.
Well, you're not thinking hard enough.
Sure. Of like non-bossy people.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more than that.
Sure, but yeah, it actually is quite a small number of enemy types. But there's a lot of variety within that.
Yeah. The level design I think is pretty good across the board. I guess should we get into our
we can give
reviews?
a rating, and then because I think a lot of things we would talk about would be more story stuff, which certainly will require spoilers.
Sure. This one's actually kind of hard for me to review because it's hard to talk about without the spoilers. The gameplay is all really good. I'm quite fond of the gameplay, but I feel like there are some story structure issues. The game ends at a point where my first reaction was, sorry, what? It's over?
Yes.
I thought there were going to be multiple endings because it's got this whole dialogue system that has like a lot of branching, and you can like learn different things, and decisions from prior levels kind of carry through.
Yeah.
But there's only really the one ending.
Yeah, it does seem like there's
technically 2 endings, but the other ending is not.
It's kind of non-ending.
It's kind of an early ending. That's not really a real ending.
Yeah, for how much choice you appear to have.
For how much choice they give you,
quite matters.
And for how much like talking and dialogue there is. There's a lot of... The game does a really good job of setting up an atmosphere and the mystery, and there's a lot of intrigue going on, and I was like really starting to get invested in the story, and then it ends.
Yes.
And not only does it just end, but it ends with a to be continued.
Right.
And the final boss that you fight doesn't feel like it's the final boss.
Right.
Like,
it's really the hardest fight in the
it is definitely the hardest fight.
Point.
It's a good final boss fight, but it's with a character that you've never met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
so
you haven't seen this person before. It's not who you're expecting to fight. You just things just kind of happen to you, and you sort of go along with it in the story, I guess. That's not to say that the story is not good. I think there's a difference between a story that is bad, or where I think the writers didn't know where they were going with it. And this, which feels like, yes, the writers are definitely going somewhere with it. There's a lot of hidden stuff in the story that you have to kind of go back and try different choices to learn more things, or pay really close attention to how the credits roll, and there's a lot of hidden stuff in the game, and the writers were writing something interesting, but I felt like the way they did it wasn't satisfying to me.
You suggested that maybe there was time issues. It kind of felt like they had more, but had to cut it at some point.
Yeah,
just to release the game. Hence the to be continued.
Yes, either they intended more and had to cut it, or the intention from the beginning was a second game, or DLC. I think there's DLC coming.
Yes, there's DLC coming.
But when the game ends, it really feels like you've only entered the halfway point, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like even if they did intend to have multiple games or game plus DLC, that expectations could have been maybe set slightly differently.
Yeah.
Or it could have... It almost doesn't even feel like you're even at like a mini climax point.
No, not really.
It's not like, oh, here's a small issue solved and there's going to be more.
Yeah, you don't feel like you've made progress. You eliminate...
Yeah,
some story progress happens. Things happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like the... I don't know. Anyway, so a lot of what so I'm going to give it a 3, I think. I think it's really good. I think it could be a 4, but I feel like it's just the story is too incomplete, or isn't quite delivered in a satisfying enough way that I have trouble saying yeah, definitely everybody should go get this.
Yeah.
That might change with DLC or a second game.
Maybe.
I could see a second game being even better.
Sure. Yeah, perhaps.
And I will say, I guess the gameplay also does feel a little bit cut short as well. There's a lot of promise to the systems, and a lot of cool, it feels like they could do a lot more, and they just haven't gotten to it yet. So I don't know. That's where I am. It feels like an incomplete game to me. It's still a really good incomplete game.
Yes.
But it feels incomplete. It's not. Yeah. I don't want to dunk on them for it's a complete game because they completed it.
Yes.
It's good. It's fun.
I guess one thing you had said when we were talking earlier is that they could have just not said to be continued.
Yes. If they didn't say to be continued.
And then it could look like a more intentional, ambiguous ending, potentially. Or
yes.
You'd be like, oh, that's mysterious.
Yeah, I could have gone with it a bit more.
Whereas to be continued is kind of like, oh, I see, you weren't done.
Yeah, it's odd. I feel weird about this because it's definitely this sort of game that I would normally like, because they don't they don't spoon feed you the plot.
Yep.
You are kind of expected to read between the lines and look at the sprites more carefully and watch things closely. But yeah, I can get into it in the spoiler bit. But...
Yeah, that sounds good. I think pretty similar for me. I will also go with a 3 out of 4 for this. Yeah, I think it is quite fun. It's pretty tight in its presentation, I think. The art style is quite good, the music is quite good.
Oh yes, the music's great.
There's actually even a fun little, not even really story conceit, but the fact that when you start a mission, your main character actually presses a play on their Walkman thing. It actually clicks, I think, like it's a cassette.
Yes, yeah.
Press play on your Walkman and level music starts. which is kind of fun. And yeah, the music is good, and I guess it's chiptune-y.
Yeah, it's all very chiptune-y,
yeah. Presentation, audio, visual, really good. Controls things super tight, so the gameplay is really nice. Yeah, I agree. Story-wise, there's like what's there of the story is pretty compelling. There's just not too much of it. The game is fairly short.
Yeah, we
not terribly short, but maybe only 5 hours.
We played it for like 2 days, right? Or 3 days, maybe.
Yeah, we played it like a little bit each day for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like about a 4 or 5 hour game or so. Which you can find. But yeah, it certainly seems like there is more to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, really like nice and tight presentation. A lot of fun, but not like maybe not even incredibly novel. I feel like some of the things have been put together in kind of a novel way. Like I haven't played a stealth game like this that has as interesting of a dialogue system.
Yeah.
But nothing is like too novel. For like the different pieces like all together. But what's there is like really well done, I think. Yeah, so I look forward to playing more when DLC comes out.
Yeah.
See what we actually get.
But I feel like with a lot of games that have DLC, there's the like, am I going to play it when the DLC comes out?
Right.
Problem.
Yes.
And the answer is I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
Right now I would like to.
Yeah.
But I said that about the Messenger, and I haven't played the Messenger.
I
DLC
did
yet.
go back and play the Messenger
Did you finish
DLC. Yes.
Okay.
And so yeah, you should play it. I mean, it's
Okay.
more Messenger, which is nice. It's
All
not very long.
But
But yeah, I do feel like DLC is always like a little clunky because you'd rather still have been in the mood that like, okay, I'm in the mood to play this game. I've just learned this system. I'd like to not have to go and relearn this system when I come back to play the DLC.
Yeah, it's such a gamble on like my emotional state and.
It's like, well, we haven't played the DLC for Breath of the Wild yet.
We love that game. Breath of the Wild is amazing. And we haven't gone back to do the DLC because, I don't know, we've been done with the game.
When I think about doing the DLC, I'm like, I am going to have to relearn how the system works.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I guess those are our thoughts. So shall we get started with the spoiler discussion? All right, spoiler discussion start. Spoiler time.
All right.
Okay, so
yeah, this story is pretty interesting. I actually didn't realize at the very beginning that your therapist was the one handing you the dossiers. I thought he didn't make.
I thought it was pretty clear.
I thought he didn't make that clear until like the third mission or so. But I think maybe you're supposed to know this from the very beginning. So yeah, it's really interesting to start with. It's like, okay, I am dressed as a samurai for some reason.
I don't even think that's really that important. It's just they did it because they wanted to, and the characters in the world joke about it.
Yes, there are some really good story bits where people are like, oh,
the whole scene in the hotel.
Like, oh, is this cosplay?
Like, yes, I'm from Samurai Showdown X2VX. You are, yeah.
It's like, oh, I've never heard of that. Like, you're not a patrician of anime like
only real anime fans have seen this one. Just like, oh, can I watch it on like Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Like, sorry,
it's pretty hard to find.
It's only on VHS. There's some good humor in it.
Yeah, the dialogue writing I think is pretty cool. You get really good personification of characters from the dialogue, like text presentation.
Yes, I think the text presentation stuff is all really good.
Like the really aggro dude V is like his text is aggressive.
And Russian.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very Russian.
Yeah, he says some Russian words I only knew like a couple of. He calls you like, "Hey guy" at some point or something, but then I don't know what he's saying most of the time. I assume it's not too important.
Psycho something.
Yeah. Parishka. But yeah, I think certainly story gets pretty weird quickly. There's like mystery right away. I mean, right off the bat, it's like, okay, I'm an assassin that goes to his therapist every day who's giving me my medicine, which is like this huge ass needle.
Yeah, it's pretty gigantic.
It's a little bit concerning.
It's like the size of his fucking arm.
Yeah, it's like... but alright. And I guess even as early as the third mission where you're told to go kill someone in a prison, and by the time you get there, literally everyone in the prison is already dead.
Yes. Yeah.
So that sets up, mystery right away. Like, okay, something else is happening.
There's also you're kind of having these like weird fever dreams where you seem to keep getting killed.
Some nightmare about your past, maybe when you were young, that someone came into your house and killed a man, unclear relation to you. And you keep getting a little bit more detail of this dream every day, and you talk to your therapist about it, or you don't.
Yeah, or you don't. Yeah.
You can just be like, give me the medicine. Give me the medicine.
There's the whole... Yeah, so the kind of crux of the game is the whole drug use issue, where you're like apparently a super soldier who's been given this drug that gives them this premonition.
Right, it's how you get your precognition is because of the drug. Chronos. Alright, interesting chat.
Yeah, there's like...
Yeah, like
it's an interesting...
I guess pretty early on, it's clear that the medicine that you're getting is this drug.
Yeah.
That is like giving you this ability. It's like, okay. Yeah, later on, it's more clear that you were like raised on this drug practically, like as soon as you enlisted in the army. Maybe even from earlier, maybe from birth. You'd like been constantly given this drug, and now you need it to survive.
Yeah, there's this implication that if you don't have it, you go into like really heavy withdrawal.
Yes.
And that the withdrawal can either kill you or
just make you crazy.
Make you go crazy.
And a lot of the story is around the diminishing Chronos supply. People are fighting over like less and less supply because there's some people are manufacturing.
Yeah, some people are fighting over the supply. But you're kind of killing all of the people who made it. It's a little unclear.
Yeah, it seems like you're trying to make sure that this drug actually does get eliminated and not brought back. But unfortunately, you are going to need it to survive.
Right. So what do you think about this as the... Like, how do you think it panned out as a conceit? Like, we don't need to explain the entire story. This is already the spoiler section.
Yes. I don't know how compelling it is, in that you were already killing people for like no reason at the beginning. So maybe when you get a reason for it, it doesn't matter as much. Or like, it seems like people who are making the drug are like potentially war criminals anyways.
Well, I was meaning more just about the actual, like, a big part of the game is that you're tripping so hard, you're like...
Sure.
You kind of flash between, like, trips and withdrawals.
That's true. It's I guess at any point it's not clear if what you're doing is reality.
Yeah, your character is kind of losing grips with reality the entire game.
There are quite a few moments where you try to do something and get overruled by yourself, essentially.
Right. Or just like you'll be in the middle of doing something and the game will like glitch.
Yeah.
And you'll suddenly be somewhere else doing something else.
Yeah.
And then you'll glitch and like return back to the present.
Yeah, I quite like this.
Sometimes you'll just skip entire scenes and like not know where you are.
Right, you wake up in your therapist's office.
Yeah.
You're like, oh hi. Yeah, actually I quite like how this worked. Again, visually, like audio visually, when they have these kinds of glitches, I think they're like very impactful. I like how it feels in the game. They're very like shocking, even after you've seen like a bunch of them. There's always still like pretty shocking.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of surprise in a game for someone with precognition.
Yes,
but which works really well.
I was gonna say that I thought they maybe overused it a little bit in that they like rely on it too much as a as a story device. Like, okay,
to get out
of explaining things, sure. Or to get out of like not necessarily to get out of explaining things. Like some story writers, I would say yes, they would do that to get out of explaining something because they don't have an answer. Mm-hmm. Here, it's more like they didn't. Like this is a way to get around answering it and to kind of hide it in background information. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, it's just not satisfying to play through, I guess. Sure. To me, like how to put it.
It is a funny, kind of a hard game to talk about in some ways.
Well, so the end, so the whole game you kind of build up this rogues gallery of villains who also have who are also precognition fiends,
and thus fights against them are fairly interesting because both of you can theoretically see what the other is going to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
But you build up a full rogues gallery, right?
Sure.
There's like 4 or 5 other people.
Yeah.
That are all null
Project
nulls.
Null soldiers. Yeah.
So you kind of expect like the expectation that you build by like presenting us with all of these people is that we're gonna fight them all.
True.
Or that they're all gonna be like directly relevant to the story and we're gonna like find out something about them. But
yeah, you would expect to kind of Kill Bill go through like all of them and like
but
kill them
kind
all
of
off.
you like nobody you fight as a boss ends up being like an important person. Like I think there's only the 2 real big bosses. The 2 bosses that you like actually get to fight the whole fight through are the axe guy, who you don't know before that scene.
Mr. Kissyface.
Mr. Kissyface, yeah.
Yeah, who's just kind of just shows up. You're like, oh, I guess it's a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not important to the story.
He just works for V.
Yeah.
You do get to fight V. Apparently you can finish that fight, but you're very unlikely to, at least the first time.
Sure. Oh,
because you get interrupted.
So you fight V in a
fight.
room, you also fight V in his helicopter.
Oh, V on the helicopter?
Yeah,
sure.
That's
kind of a
like
weird... That's like a minigame boss
is,
fight, right?
Yeah, it is more arcade-esque.
You're, like, fighting him on a motorcycle.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're on a motorcycle. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're on a motorcycle fighting a helicopter. Yeah.
You're reflecting bullets back at the helicopter.
It feels like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, minigame. Like, you're still using the same mechanics, but it just feels different.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
And then the last boss.
And, like, you don't really get the satisfaction of killing V, who's a major antagonist.
Right. The show seems like you will.
The real dragon, one of the other super soldiers.
Yeah.
Just kind of pops in and kills him.
Right. And you never fight him.
You do get to play as him.
Yes. Just quite a fun
which
level.
is a really fun level.
Quite fun.
It's really cool. I like his abilities, but you only get to use them for that one level, which could be fine.
I think actually really well done. How you can be like, oh, okay, how was he able to go and do all of this? Like, oh, because he's really good.
Yes.
I see. I can see firsthand how he would do this.
Yeah. But he doesn't show up again after that until the credits, right?
Yeah, I think basically.
Yeah, you get this like videotape of him and you watch the videotape and while you're watching it you're kind of playing as him, but
and maybe
from there until the credits roll you don't see him again.
And maybe like the character that's kind of set up as like the mastermind at the end of the game, you also don't fight them.
Who? The therapist or
no. The guy you see on screen.
Oh, the sniper person?
Yeah.
Who ends up being just like a
person in a cryo chamber.
Cryo frozen.
So,
dude.
I guess you don't fight him, you do kill him, I guess.
Yes, you do kill him.
Like,
yeah, it's just a lot of weird, like, they keep setting up expectations. Or they set up expectations of, like, I don't know, they use the language of games that has been built in for years upon years. It's time-honored tradition. Sure. It's fine to go against it. I'm not saying that, like, it's a choice.
But
they made a choice.
It does maybe set some wrong expectations.
Yeah. It set up some expectation that we were gonna, like, solve that stuff. Or, like, deal with it in some way. Like, we never really deal with the null issue. Like, nothing gets resolved as a result of the story. The big reveal at the end is that you're not the person in your dream that you thought you were.
Right.
Like, it's always some dude coming in to kill this boy
who looks like
you, so you assume it's you.
Yeah.
But it turns out that you're the guy who walks in and kills him.
Right. We're like, okay, yeah, we were a soldier.
Okay, yeah, it's like...
that seems like something we probably did.
Okay. And that it reveals that we worked with the dragon guy, 15.
Right, which is kind of expected because we already know we're a null soldier at this point.
So it's just kind of a
and
weird.
And then the final boss
is
end. Like, we don't know who you are.
Oh yeah, the final boss is just some lady that
she shows up,
has a laser.
She shows up and she's like, I would like Kronos as well. There's not enough for both of us. So we're like, well, guess we'll fight.
Did you try telling her, like, we could just work together?
No. I don't know if I did.
Okay, I tried. I'm like, she's like, we have to kill all the Kronos people. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay.
Like, let's just work together. And she's like, no, we can't. There's not enough Kronos to go around. I'm like,
right.
Okay, well.
Well, my therapist seems pretty flush with it, unless he literally just gave me the last shot.
Well, you take like 3 of them off of them, right?
At the end, yeah.
At the end. Yeah, it's just kind of strange. They give you... Yeah, what do you think of the choice between the gold mask and the silver mask?
Confusing? Confusingly worded, because I feel like they explained the colors mapped to life and death one way at one point, and then changed that mapping in their text later, and then changed back again. So I got confused about exactly which one. I'm like, I know which one I want to pick. I'm like, I want to pick the one where I die and everything is fine.
Well, they worded it strangely. They did. I think they did word it consistently, but it was always that, like, you pick the mask of life, everyone dies. You pick the mask of death, everyone lives.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, I want the one where I die, because that makes it sound like everything's going to be fine. I'm like, I did successfully get that, but I wasn't like totally sure I was picking the right one.
Right. It's not. They confirm it when you're like choosing.
Yeah, a lot of things like, you want to die. I'm like, yes, that's the one.
But yeah, what do you actually think about the context? Like, what? Not just the. Like, sure, it's a little confusing the way they.
Yeah, but like in the story, so it's presented to you early on like it's going to be a more important choice than it is. It then comes back at a pretty random moment. Like it's not at like a dramatic point where it looks like I would have like a really interesting choice to make.
No, it's just kind of you surrounded by a bunch of cops that you could probably kill anyway if you were actually playing it.
I'm good.
I was like, oh, cool. Do I get to actually like play this out? And
yeah,
like,
well, I can take these. And they're like, no, you would die. I'm like, would I? If you say so. But it kind of like take away my agency. Yeah, and it seemed like that was going to be something that was important more for like the very end of the game, but it kind of comes at the 2/3 mark. And then the choice doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was odd.
I mean, the choice does matter in that if you choose one of them, you die right away, and then you just get a game over and the credits roll.
Yeah. And it's not even a game over in the kind of like it doesn't like show me in the epilogue like, yes, my choice did lead to like this thing that I could accept.
I think you're just supposed to trust it.
But this is a game that's incredibly untrustworthy, though.
It is. I think we talked about it earlier. It is a very Spec Ops: The Line kind of choice. I think is what they were going
trying to go for.
Where
like, the only winning move is not to play.
Yeah, that you by deciding to continue to exist are causing problems for the world at large.
Yeah.
Which and you should just not.
Maybe I'm still waiting for a game that actually manages to pull this off. Because every time I've seen something like this, it's just been like, well, obviously I want to play the game.
Yeah,
so I'll take the choice where I can play the game. Thanks.
Usually the problem with this kind of conceit, which I feel like only started showing up after BioShock.
Sure.
Yeah, my guess is that BioShock 1 is kind of what popularized this look, player.
You've done this.
You've done this. Look what you've done.
Yeah.
You've ruined everything. Why did you choose to play the game?
Yeah, but
why did you follow my game's instructions?
Why did you give me this game then?
It's a cute conceit the first time it happens. So what happens in BioShock, it's like a surprise, and
I think the statute of limitations is probably up if we want to explain that.
But I don't need to, do I?
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay. I mean,
I like the ending of BioShock 1. Yeah.
Yeah, just there's been a couple of games that I've seen that have done it since that have all been like, I've always been like, I don't know.
Undertale
does this too, and I'm not fond of. I love Undertale.
Yes, and it's only on the like bad path in Undertale.
Yeah, but like what?
Or the game is trying to make you feel bad for playing the game that, like, but you made it.
Yeah.
You did this.
I didn't make a version of the game where I could kill all of the cast. Like,
yeah.
this didn't need to be an option.
Right.
You could have just made the other part of the game.
Yeah. And given that games are kind of, a lot of the time, meant to be the sort of safe space to explore, like, say, questions of morality, by, like, taking things that you might not normally do to see what those consequences look like, then making the player feel bad for, or, like, blaming them for doing it is strange. Making them feel bad's not bad.
Yeah, no, making you feel bad is
But blaming
fine.
them for trying.
I think it's okay to have a
strange.
stance on, like, the actual action itself.
Yeah.
But I think there's something weird involved when you like, try to guilt trip the player for taking an option that you enable. Like,
right. Yeah. It's like entrapment.
Yeah, it is entrapment. On a game level, I guess.
I've had, like, I had a friend who played more, or, like, I guess it was Oblivion, that was, like, didn't want to do the Dark Brotherhood quest because he, like, felt too bad about it. And I'm like, okay.
Sure, yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But if you do the Dark Brotherhood quest, the game isn't like, you're a terrible person for playing my game.
I mean, they could make your character out to be bad. That's fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's like, show me the consequences in the world.
It's the pointing at the player behind the controller.
Yeah,
that is like a little bit like, come on, my dude, like,
yeah,
my dudette, please don't.
We are both complicit in this.
Yeah. This was an agreement between you, the developer, and I, the player.
We work together to make this happen.
That if you've provided an option and I look to see how the option works, that does not mean I'm some sinister soul, like, hell-bent on doing the bad things.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm curious of what you put there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. It's this weird equation of, like, trying to make it seem like it's real life.
And I guess we can be clear, this game doesn't do that. It doesn't make you feel bad for finishing the rest of the game.
No, not quite. But I think that's I think the purpose is that it is trying to do this sort of thing, because you get to the end of the main of like the normal path, and you find out that maybe the little girl isn't real. And if she is real, then she's been captured by the mask people and taken away, and that she'll die.
That scene.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
I'm like, are the mask people real?
I don't think so. They're the people from next door who got murdered by V.
Are they?
Yeah, but
they might be.
I mean, they take those forms, but who knows? It's hard to talk about
It's a strange game.
Yeah, there's so much in the game that's just really abstract. It's kind of hard to talk about it in concrete terms, I guess.
Open for interpretation for sure. There's a lot of people's theories about what certain parts actually mean, and
but I think the point is that, like, okay, you play through it all the way through, you see that, wait, no, you're actually you might actually be more of a bad guy than you thought, and this little girl ceases to exist because of you, or has been captured because of you. Maybe. You don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps the only winning move is to have him get killed.
Yeah. But it's not clear.
But it's not a really interesting way of doing it.
No.
Yeah. I think you're right that if they did do some kind of, like, epilogue on that route, that would have been more...
Yeah, you could be like, okay, this is what I take. Like,
I mean, the artistic decision may be that, like, well, you don't know because you don't get to see the world after you're dead. That's what happens when you die.
Yeah, I mean, you could take it. It's kind of an unsatisfying but, like, reasonable, like, explanation from the point of view of art.
Yeah. So I think...
like, okay.
So, unlike some other things where I'm like, okay, the art, like, the take is... I think it's a reasonable artistic take, like a reasonable artistic direction.
You could have artistic integrity.
I just think it was a bad one.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I'm thinking about, like,
I didn't like
a couple other games where the bad end, you do, well, you know, ostensibly bad end, you do get to see what, like, happens as a result.
Xillia 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Xillia 2 and even Persona 3.
Oh, the Persona 3 bad end is really good.
That, like, you could take these and be like, yes, I think that's actually how I would like this game to end.
It's pretty dark. It's pretty morbid. The Persona 3 one, anyway.
I mean, so it's really a 2-1.
Sure.
But you'd be like, yeah, like that's. I'd like to kind of just see a little bit more about how does this bad end end.
Yeah. And you don't get to see, how the Katana Zero.
Yeah, so it's not clear that there's like anything satisfying. I'm like, oh, did that work? I don't know. I don't really trust these people anyways. Who are these creepy mask people? They'll be like, oh yeah, just kill yourself, everything will be fine. You'll be like, oh okay.
I mean,
that's not the drugs talking
to himself, but I don't know. It's.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of what I'm kind of getting at, is that like the plot really kind of draws you in and wants you to be invested, and then it doesn't quite like respect you as much as like you respect it, kinda.
Yeah, like I'm waiting for like some like interesting story beats and mysteries to kind of get resolved, and it's like, we're done.
Yeah.
Sorry for stringing you along. Hope you had fun. The gameplay was fun, wasn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, I guess our entire spoiler section was all just the story bits, but
I mean that's what the spoilers are in this game.
Yeah, that is kind of but that is like the thing that's probably most worth talking about. Gameplay was good.
Yeah,
gameplay was solid.
Oh yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Definitely fun to play.
I think the story is sort of what could have made it amazing instead of just solid.
Oh yeah, it could have been like Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm like, yeah, you're fine. It's good. You should play it. Try it.
Yeah, so that's kind of the sad part of like, man, this could have been perfect
after the DLC or a sequel game or something. To see more.
Yeah,
but keep you informed.
All right. Well, I think that's probably going to call it clear.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.